Hi, this is Heather Dorn from Noisography.com, and we're here with Gabrielle Papillon. How are you doing in this fine afternoon?
I'm great.
So last year was a pretty busy year for you with your release of your new album and everything. Do you have any highlights that you would like to talk about?
Oh God. Um, yeah, there were a couple really great conference shows and some really nice album release shows, and playing with like 3 different bands in 3 different cities. So um, for the big tour this fall, we did album launches in Toronto, Montreal, and Halifax, and they were all kind of big shows with bands and people I've played with, for years. And I would just sort of email them a month in advance and be like, I'll be in town like a week before. We're going to rehearse on these 3 days. Everyone learn these parts. And then just go in and play these kind of big shows. That was really great. And then, I played Halifax Pop Explosion, which is always really nice. And Nova Scotia Music Week was great. Played some shows with Amelia Curran, who's
Awesome.
yeah. I mean, yeah.
So you have like a posse in other cities that you work with when you're in town?
Yeah. In Montreal and Toronto, what actually happened was my original band, which is it's 3 guys in a band called Honeyman and the Brothers Farr. They all moved to Toronto, so they're there now. So whenever I play there, I kind of hire them as ringers and have them come and sing. And then here, it's so great playing here because, I mean, I love Montreal and I love here, but in Montreal, if I ask people to play, I have to ask 12 people to play with me because 6 are going to bail last minute. Whereas here, everybody said yes and meant it. So then I played this big theater show with like a 12-person band. And, when everyone said yes, I was kind of like, oh, okay, what am I going to do? Okay, this is going to be fine. It's going to be great. But, and it's just, almost everyone who sings with me here is a singer-songwriter. So for that show, we had Kim Harris, Stewart Legere, Don Brownrigg, Taryn Kawaja is also a singer-songwriter, Kev Corbett. Everyone kind of has their own project and is still totally on board for coming and singing, and it's lovely. Yeah.
So did they help on the album at all, or did you have any people you particularly work with on your last album?
Yeah, I did the same thing that I kind of do a lot because I lived in Montreal for such a long time. We did part of the album in Montreal, and Dan Ledwell flew to Montreal, and we did sort of the drum tracks there and all the bass tracks with my musicians there, and then came here and recorded with Dan did all his tracks here, Jen Grant did her tracks here, Sasha Muse and Kev Corbett did their stuff here, and I did all my vocals here. Yeah.
And what was your main inspiration for that album?
Life. Yeah, just, I mean, it was, I've been writing a lot of those songs over 2 years and touring, and I really wanted this album to be a product of me having toured the songs for a while. So the whole spring tour I did last year was basically almost entirely new songs, so I could kind of get a feel for them. And then it ended up also being a lot about, kind of not necessarily traveling. I mean, it's not an album about touring, but about, I guess, finding your way and I mean, all kinds of things. Sometimes they're just totally imaginary scenarios, like I'm a cowboy and I'm on the run, which is obviously not autobiographical.
Awesome. So you have your PhD, do you also? Or?
No, I have my master's.
Oh, your master's,
Somebody
okay.
in some article said that I have a PhD, and it's that easy, folks. I have a master's degree in history.
So what motivates you to keep writing music instead of, pursuing that?
I was about to swear. Academics is hard, and this is hard as well, but for me, I think I get a lot more out of singing. I mean, it's much more inspiring. I loved being in school, and I loved reading and learning, and I'm still like a total nerd. Like I was up last night reading about, I don't even know, I'm fascinated by, right, lately I just keep reading about like religious beliefs and stuff like that, and so I was like reading up on all this stuff instead of kind of just going to sleep on a Friday night. Um, so in that way, it's I'm still very much like kind of a nerdy, geeky person, but I'm not. This is all encompassing. I mean, you write a song and there's no feeling like that when you're writing a song, and it's just you're totally absorbed in it and moved by it, and almost like pushed into singing it. So it's a very different thing. Yeah, I'm grateful. I'm so grateful and glad that I took the time to go to school, but this is really where my heart is.
And you're doing some touring and playing in Dead of Winter festival as well.
Yeah. I'm actually like home in Nova Scotia for 5 weeks straight without having to go anywhere, which is so great. And then I start more or less playing and touring again at Dead of Winter. So after Dead of Winter, I'll go to Montreal and do a residency there, and then Toronto to go to Folk Alliance, which is just this massive conference with like 2,000 industry people in folk music. And yeah, then back here for ECMAs and a little bit of touring around here, and then west for more touring.
And you're going on tour with Christina Contour?
Yeah, we're going to be doing that in the spring. She's from BC. She's lovely and dear, and yeah, she's coming out here, so she asked me if I wanted to kind of jump in, and she booked a bunch of the gigs, which is great. And we're going to do like 4 or 5 shows. It's kind of a mini tour, but it's going to be really nice.
Also, I know on your website or Facebook it says that your hometowns like Montreal, New Glasgow, or Winnipeg. Why do you feel like you have 3? Yeah, in Halifax.
Didn't I change it?
And what do you feel like just because you travel there often? Is that why you feel like they're your hometowns?
I think it was partly just where I was from. So I grew up in Winnipeg and Quebec. I was in Montreal for about 10 years before coming here, and now I'm really here for the most part. But I still actually have a chunk of my stuff is still in Montreal. So, yeah, I was for a long time. I really didn't want to have to pick a place to be from. I'm not feeling that so much anymore. I should change my Facebook status. I got really kind of fed up on this last tour. I realized that I'd read interviews and I'd be like, sometimes I was from PEI, sometimes I was from Ottawa. Like they don't know where I'm from. Yeah. Pick a Canadian city. So I really started feeling like, and I also just wanted to be rooted to a place. So I kind of made a conscious decision to be here.
Halifax is the hometown.
Yeah.
Well, thank you very much, and you're going to play some music for us now, so that's great. Thank you.